In this video, we're going to look at Western Kentucky and a few different concepts they run at this wide bunch. We call it triangle instead of trips. You just get into a bunch and you're a little bit wider. A lot of teams will do it and they'll motion to it and do different things, especially when they're seeing man-to-man. But we'll look at just a few different concepts, different screens and things like that they like to run out of this triangle set. First concept we're going to look at is just a couple square ends with a corner. They run it over here out of this triangle. And we ran this out of trips quite a bit. We hadn't done it out of the wide bunch, but we'll take a look and see how they do it. They do it a few different ways, but right here, the guy that's on the tip, he runs the corner this time. He runs the first square in. He kind of comes outside and he's that second square in. So our progression on this would be first square in, second square in, corner. So we just go 1, 2, 3 right there if we like our numbers, and that would be our progression. But right here, we'll play it and we'll see what takes place right there. You can see the release. Like a lot of teams will do with the bunch, or wide bunch, they'll put a guy right there mashing the guy that's on the line of scrimmage. The inside release is going to that corner. You can see he's walling right there. There's the first in. This backer or in right there is dropping to it, so he doesn't really like it. And you can see the release right there from the guy that was the number 3 receiver. So again, man-to-man, if this guy's manned up, he's going over the top or something like that, this could be an easy way to get a nice return route right there and hopefully create some space right there. But you can see we're looking first square in, doesn't like it, and there's the second square in. I would probably think they want to get a little bit more distance between those two guys, but still you can see the timing of that, and there's the safety of the corner trying to drive down on it, and they're able to get a completion. Obviously, if that corner's real hard on that, that's when you would go to that corner route, but right here they're able to take advantage of it and just get that completion there on that square in, the second square in. Nearly breaks it for a pretty good gain right there. But really interesting rub and kind of a route right there. We'll take another look of something very similar. This is a second look from the same game. They actually motioned to it right here. So they started out in just a trip where they were stacked, and right there they motioned the outside guy all the way to number 3. So anytime you can switch who's number 1, 3, all that stuff, and stay pretty simple, that's going to help you out. And right there they do that, and they just bump back into that zone. Again, got over the top of the tip of the bunch. They switch who's running the corner and how the square ends are going right there. So right here, instead of the guy that's the tip of the bunch going to the corner, now he's going to this first square end. The outside guy, the guy that ends up being number 3, he's running the corner, and he's outside release. There's the second square end right there. So they just switched up who was running the square ends and who was running the corner right here, which is always interesting if you can keep it very simple and get there. But right there you can see I like the spacing of this a little bit better, the way that they ran it as opposed to the time before. Right here you can see with that free release there from that guy, he's able to take that middle linebacker a little bit faster. There's a lot more space between him and the second square in right there. And again, outside leverage right here with this outside backer, he takes the first guy. Obviously if he blitzes or he disappears, we'll hit right there. There'd be 1. Then this second square in would be 2, and obviously this corner was driving down or something like that on that. Now we have that corner to replace him into that area. But right there you can see likes square ends, got leverage, puts it on his body. Good job right there. Good completion, gets a good gain. A real simple throw and catch right there. They switched up who was running that corner that time. Here's another passing concept out of this wide bunch. And again, they motion to it. You can see right here they start out in double stack. They end up motioning that guy all the way across, which is a great thing. Again, make them communicate. Switch what they're doing. You can see this guy right here. He's pointing, trying to communicate. If you can get those guys to, play a little slower or check into their base, a lot of times that's conducive to big things for the offense. And right here, with that motion and that communication, what they end up doing is playing a little bit of quarter half. It basically turns into a one high look, and curl flat is a really good call against one high look. As this played, you can see you have an outside release go, and here to the single. Looks like the quarterback's eyes glance over there, and he sees that they take 2 for 1 on that go, so he decides that he's going to come over here to this curl flat. And as you see it, they switch up who's running what. So this outside guy, the number 1 receiver, he goes right there through the middle. He's trying to take the middle of the field. Obviously, if this backer blitzed or vacated or just disappeared for some reason, that would be your first read. So right there you can see he's releasing inside. He's going right there. The opposite backer pops right there, so they're not able to get it to him. He's going right there. He's guarding that guy taking the middle of the field. And you can see here's the curl coming. Point of the bunch here, he ends up being the curl. He just goes straight vertical, curls. He runs an arrow right there, stretching the flats. And you can see how they open this up. You can see there's the middle backer chasing. There's the outside backer. Obviously, he's responsible for the flats. He's chasing the flat, the arrow right there. He's going vertical with this zone. They're playing that cover 3 or quarter half, and now there's a huge window. That's about half the field for a window on that curl flat for this play. So right there, when it's those hips go down, ball comes out, hits him right on the face for an easy completion right there. Curl flat versus that quarter half, which really ends up being basically a cover 3, just switching who's in the flats over here on this side. So real easy completion right there off that with a little bit of motion. We're going to look at this curl flat from Western Kentucky. Again, a little bit of short motion right there, getting them to that wide bunch, making them communicate. And one of the great things about the offense for Western Kentucky this past year is that they can easily switch who's running what. And you can see right here, it's the same concept. It's a curl flat, but they switch who's running what. And as a snap, you can see he's coming to the middle here. He's actually going to the curl, and now we have a flat here from the number 3 receiver. And so as you see that play, here's a safety. He actually rolled to the middle of the field. He's robbing there to the middle of the field, trying to make sure that there's nothing down the middle. And right there's the first guy, and that's our first look. So he doesn't like it, gets off of it pretty quickly because he knows there's 2 guys. Nobody vacated that area with a blitz, so we're not hot or anything like that. So get off of it, and we're going to the curl. You can see everybody's getting depth. That curl's dead right there. That outside backer's to it. He's able to flip it out there to the flat and get a completion. Is it a big play? No. And if they guard it, if they actually communicated this and knew what was going on and saw that flat route, he should drive that. He's in the curl. He knows he's over the top of anything vertical. But right there, FAU doesn't quite sort it out the way they should, but they still get a completion. And right here you can see the reason why this was kind of dead. They actually rolled down there. They've got 4 for 3 here, so really the numbers aren't great. Up top, they had a zone drop, and they had a corner over the top. Should be going to the short side of the field, taking your completion there to the out. And if you don't like it, then throwing away or hitting that check down with the back, getting out wide. But right here, they kind of get lucky that they're able to get a completion and have enough space to get it out there. And that's what they end up doing right there. It's usually not a bad thing. There's another concept here that I really like out of this formation. And what we get here on this, again, we're short motion, and you don't always want to just line up in this formation because teams might have different checks. You're going to make them communicate on the run, and that's what they're doing right here. They're rolling to a one-high look. You can see it's very obvious. The safety's a lot deeper. There's a giant alley right there where he's got to roll down to, and he'll roll back. But this concept always is a vertical concept. So right here, he's going there basically to hold that safety. If you know that it's kind of a quarters look where you can take that safety as well, and outside release there to the almost like a bang 8. Again, throwing a seam just like you would against cover 3 because this is all this is. And now he's got a wheel right there. And what they end up doing is they drag this guy across. If everybody's getting depth and that's kind of jumbled up, then they'll hit that underneath. So the progression that I would go through on this would be 1, just kind of a peek. He wants to widen that guy. Bang 8 right there. That'd be 2. There's the wheel. It could possibly pop. 3, we're not reading that, so he's going to keep going vertical. And right there, you got that under right there for 4. So one of those things, especially against cover 3, that I definitely like to call this, but we don't see cover 3 very often. But right there, you can see there's the inside release. He's widening that corner just a little bit to make that seam bigger. And there's that wheel release right there. You can see that backer chasing right there. And if you pause it right there, you know that bang 8 is going to have some space. Quarterback knows it right there. He's already getting that ball out, putting it on his body, using his body to shield the defender right there. That's playing cover 3 for a big completion. But really interesting concept. It's one of those things that can probably beat man, can probably beat zone. A few different zones, probably cover 4, cover 3, all those different things. And then right there, able to get a big completion on basically a seam, throwing 4 verticals with a drag coming across. Now we're going to look at a couple different screens out of this. And this is one right here where they're unbalanced and they've got their wide bunch. They're just counting numbers, just like typically they would on those fast screens. But right here they're running just an arrow here, blocking number 2, blocking number 1, blocking outside shoulder, stretching that thing as wide as you can. And the reason why people do this as far as running an arrow instead of a bubble is just those 2 steps. A lot of times if you're afraid of this safety just firing down and getting into that fit, with that 1 or 2 steps vertical, a lot of times he's a little bit more hesitant to come down. We like running this quite a bit with the RPO stuff. But right there you can see quarterback has it as far as the pre-snap look because he doesn't fake this at all, doesn't get any kind of a mesh with the running back. He just flips his hips, gets it out as fast as he can. Slows him down a little bit with the throw. Not great as far as working outside shoulder or there. But right there, able to get a completion. to one of your guys, and he's able to get a good gain, good solid gain, 4 or 5 yards. They always say team 4. We say team 6 because we'd much rather get 6 on it anytime we throw it out there. But right there, they're able to get those 4 yards on that completion and continue to get positive gains and probably get into that tempo. This one again, for this arrow look, they get a little bit of emotion to it again, making them communicate. You can see right here, they're looking like they're in a too high look, and when they motion over to it, they try to check to it. It looks like they start yelling something out. He tries to move out there, then he ends up dropping to that deep half, making it a Tampa look. With this Tampa look, they've got the numbers. He's dropping deep, he's deep, he's deep. So you got 3 deep with not enough guys underneath, especially over here. You got 2 there. Great numbers there to throw that ball outside. So again, pre-snap, they're not even RP on it right there. They like the arrow, numbers are there, catch it, throw it, hits him right in the chest. Did a great job here by this outside receiver. He's trying to work square to the outside shoulder. This defender just drives right into him. He works it where he's a little bit outside, and now they're able to get that sideline and take it right there for a first down against FAU. So really good blocking right there. Again, they're playing that Tampa, and if you can catch them in that Tampa, especially with a soft corner here, you should be able to throw that ball out there and just. Here's another look at this arrow. This is against FIU, and right here, if you stop it right here, the numbers look great. So they actually froze this play and saw that they just like to throw it out there and try to out leverage these guys pre-snap, and that's what they ended up doing right here. Just snap it, a little bit of a token fake because he knows he's coming downhill, trying to get this guy to step in maybe a step, which I think it kind of makes him pause just a little bit, and we're just flipping our hips, throwing that arrow to that guy. The ball's a little bit off right there, but you can see exactly what they're looking for, and they're going to basically double that guy up to the outside. There's a lot of room there just to run to that pylon, and they've got him out leveraged right here. If they can just get that completion, they just miss it right there. But again, if that ball's on his chest or even close enough, he's going to stretch that thing and find a way to get into the end zone. Just missed right there with the football, and it cost him a touchdown right there. It's a pretty interesting look here because I think it's an RPO. I don't know if it's a pre-snap, post-snap, whatever it is, but right here they're actually running inside zone. They're taking the 4 down here, so 4 down. There's actually 5 down. They're going to leave that guy for the backside seed for a possible quarterback to read. They're going to work up to that Mike. So right here, it's almost like there are 2 reads. I'm not sure if this is exactly what the quarterback was thinking, but obviously if this guy plays out, then he has to read the C gap. But right here, you can see he gets a little bit of a fake just in case he has to hand the ball off. He sees him blitzing, which is pretty obvious here by the way these guys are aligned. Looking at that wide bunch, that this guy's probably got a good chance to blitz because they're obviously in man coverage here. So with that being played, he sees this blitz, so he takes a step back, flips it out there. Easy completion on a 3rd and 4. Good job right there, putting a shoulder on him, having a little bit of a base and just running the guy. Gives this guy an opportunity to get that first down, which Western Kentucky does right there. Here's another look of Western Kentucky throwing a screen, and right here, as you see, started off in a bit of a stack, motion over there, got close to it, and then snapped the ball. So right there, not really letting him get all the way over there before he snaps the ball. And this is similar to the things that Alabama did in the past, where they would get into a bunch and they'd run these bubbles from the widest guy, which is one of those things you can tag whoever you want on it. Right here, they motion to it. He's going to block number 1. He's going to swing out there, but they just tag that outside guy, and now you're getting it to your outside guy if that's who you want. And right there, again, pre-snap look, right? If you stop it right about here where the quarterback's kind of making the decision, there's a lot of room out there. The corners are 5 yards off. I feel good about getting a completion, and right there, take your completion when you can. And obviously we're moving our feet, working outside shoulder, and that's a lot of space for a guy to hopefully make a play for you. Don't get a ton of yards right here, but again, completions, get the ball out of your hand, make the defense run. And that's one of those things where, especially if you're kind of an undersized O-line, the more you can do that in a game, the better it's going to be for you, especially come the 4th quarter. All right, so after you've stretched the defense with some arrows and all that stuff as far as the screens, now what you're going to want to do is come back, throw a screen coming back to the middle. So the defense is aware that you're going to throw this ball out here and try to stretch it to the sideline with arrows, different things. Coming back to the middle could be your play. So right here, obviously you've been blocking this outside shoulder. Maybe you've been running an arrow. You've been throwing it out there to the outside, got on a key screen, all those different things. But right here, you can see he's coming here. And if he's flipping his hips to the outside now, you can just pin. And he can go out there and he can pin that guy outside as well. So what they end up doing is taking just a jab. They're coming here. And you can see what they're doing. They're faking their GT going that way. They're letting their center, guard, and all those guys get out to the screen. All right, so they're just acting like they're not blocking very well. They're not centers out to block right there. So really good call right here. It kind of changes up a few things. Obviously, if they're chasing hard with the GT or any other kind of run that you have, this is going to get the box to step in and play fast. And right here, obviously, again, if you've been throwing these arrows, throwing the different key screens and stuff outside, stretching it wide, you can play against this guy and what he's been doing and working the outside. Now you can just pin that guy and wash him outside just like this. He pins right here. Here's the center getting out. That should be blocking back for the GT. And now you got the alley. We're hitting it right there for a big play for West Kentucky. Here's another look at that same play right here. Just a little bit different run scheme. Mike Leach runs this a lot. Now they're just faking inside zone. He's coming down, and then he's getting out right there. Again, trying to get him to jump outside. They just want to pin outside, and they can go right there. That tackle is coming out right there. Hopefully with that run, you're getting these backers to step in and play fast, which they end up doing right here. So here's the backer shooting. There's the tackle getting out. This end's actually seeing it. He's backing up, trying to get into it. And you can see how they end up playing this. This corner ends up firing. Now you got that outside linebacker as well that's getting down into the box. Should have came off on that corner. And I think later in the year they figured out, hey, we can still block that guy square, and then we need to go behind right there, not allow him to chase and make a big play, because that's what they ended up doing against Charlotte. But right here early in the year against Indiana, he ends up cutting under that. Corner makes the play. If that corner doesn't make the play, hopefully this tackle, maybe guard, get out there, and now they can split that. And obviously the DN as well is not squeezing down nearly as hard as what they're hoping. But again, this is a look at that same play, running that tunnel back out of that wide bunch.